What's up, people? I am back for another video. I was supposed to do this yesterday. I was just too tired. I think I just dozed off early yesterday. So I figured today potential will be two videos. Potentially meaning because I don't know if I'll do the other one. And I'll definitely watch the movie though. If anything, maybe tomorrow or Sunday I'll do the review. But if I don't do it today, but today I will be reviewing a movie called Double Impact. It's another Jean Claude Van Damme movie. I remember watching this one as a kid, and I just love the premise that he has a long lost brother. And the premise is they were raised, but they end up getting killed by the triads, or his family ends up getting killed by the triads. So Frank, who is the father, ends up having them basically he's only able to take one, and then the other is left in Hong Kong. And then they get together in the end in the movie because they end up and that's when Frank tells them they need to join together so they can take down the triads. So, and that's pretty much the film, and I'm not gonna lie, it is a funny fucking movie. I mean, even I'm not gonna put this in the title, but I'm just gonna say it. I don't care if this gets age restricted. But there's a line, it's like, the fight may be over, but you'll always be a faggot. And he says it like that. I'm not gonna lie. It is like it came out in 91. It's still kind of carryover from the late 80s. Um, the bad guy is basically just the triads. I don't feel like there's like a face of the villain. It's just the triads. You have this Karina Everson who plays Kara, who's like she's one of the bad guys, and I will say she was kind of hot, you know. Buff chicks can be pretty hot. Like apparently she's like a bodybuilder at the time. I don't think she's like I've seen her in Super Clark Superman and not Superman and Lois and Clark. Lois and I've seen her in that. I think I've seen her in something else, but she generally just plays the big jack chick in movies. So anyway, but overall, this is a fun movie. The action's great. Jean Claude Van Damme playing two brothers, but they all they have different personalities. Um, Alex is like the more tougher of the two, because he was raised in Hong Kong, and then Chad, obviously being born and with a rich family, he's a bit more like he runs a martial arts studio, like he kind of has like a successful career, and then he eventually have to save his girlfriend. There's a scene where the scene where they do fight each other is pretty fun. Because they get into a fight because Alex thinks Chad was getting um with her brother or his brother, even though it didn't actually happen, but he thinks it did. There's even a scene where he like envisioned it in his head, and he's like drinking more and more. And yeah, it's a good movie, man. It's if you like 80s 90s action cheese, this is great. And I actually think Jean Claude Van Damme, acting wise, is really good because he plays basically two different. He plays twins, and I think how the way they were able to do it, it looked good enough. Like even watched it on my newer TV, the way they were making them both be on screen was done well. I don't know how they were able to do it, but it worked, and they did a good job with it. And yeah, this is probably gonna be a shorter review, just because it's not. This is another movie like kind of like I did with um fuck the other movie I just reviewed. Jesus, I don't know why my mind went blank. Lionheart. My mind went blank for a second. Yeah, Lionheart. Like, not a lot of digest to break down. It's one of those films where it's just quick action. Two brothers. The scene in the end, they both get together because they have to save their girl. It's Alex wants to save his girlfriend, and then they got to save Frank. So that was fun. Yeah, man, I definitely recommend it. It's only an hour and a half. It's 80s 90s cheese. It's great. So today or tomorrow, more likely tomorrow, because I am going to be streaming tonight on Pin Down Podcast. We will be doing our SmackDown recap after we watch it. But if I'm able to tonight, I'll probably try to. I do want to review the Wolfman since we're getting, that new Wolfman movie, and I decided, I do love werewolf films. I'm not gonna see this one in theaters, but I will put it on Obviously, we'll watch it at the house. I'll find a way, and I'll review it. So, because I'm doing it, why not do some other werewolf movies I haven't done yet? So we're gonna do the Wolfman this week. I'm thinking either Monday, because I think I'll do two Monday, and then the other one I'll do like Tuesday or Wednesday. Will be Monday. I'll do the 2010 Wolfman movie, if anyone remembers that, and then Tuesday I'll do The Howling, because I don't think I've done that yet. I've done American Werewolf in London. I've done Dog Soldiers. So I'll do those, and then probably next week when it's out, I'll do that new Wolfman movie. So figure we'll start with that. So other than that, I'll figure out if I do that video tonight. I'll figure out if I'll do any videos on the weekend, because we have the podcast, and then I probably try to do something. It might be a discussion video though. It probably won't be a review. Probably find something to riff on. But other than that, let's Pin Down Podcast will be in the link will be in the description along with the Spotify link. So, but anyways, let's get into this. So the movie opens up. Paul and Nigel, their rich family leaving. Oh shit! Sorry, looking for something. They leave a party, attended by also flanked by their bodyguard Frank, who that actor is recognizable. I've seen him in some movies. With their sons Chad and Alex, who are twins. But they end up getting killed by the triads. Paul and Catherine are killed by the triads, and Frank has to escape. He ends up he's only able to save Chad, and then that means, and then Alex is found by the maid and taken to a Hong Kong orphanage, while Frank raises Alex or Chad as his son, basically. And now 25 years later, Frank and Chad run a martial arts studio. And I'm not gonna lie, very 90s cheesy. You see a lot of these like hot chicks in like leotard outfits. I'm not gonna lie, it's nice to see that. But and then Frank tells Chad that they're gonna go to Hong Kong. And when they go there, a hot girl lures Chad over, and that's when he gets knocked out by his brother, who we find out later, Alex, who tells him, because he's mad because he's hitting on his girlfriend Danielle, and then that's when Frank tells the both of them that they're brothers. And I do like that they were twins, but Jean-Claude Van Damme could have just easily played it like lazy and just be like, all right, I'll just be myself twice. But he's like, no, he'll give them different personalities. Obviously, Chad is the richer one, so he's gonna be a bit more like, whereas not necessarily, he still knows how to fight, he knows how to manage, but obviously he's raised in a city, or he's raised in France. So he's a bit more rich and all that. Whereas Alex, he's going to be more hardened and much more aggressive, because obviously he had to fend for himself kind of thing. He didn't even really want to believe that they're brothers initially. And, they don't get along. Kind of that's like the point of the film. And we get a fight scene, because they try to smuggle, They try to smuggle a Mercedes and some cigarettes to Chinese buyers. Thugs kidnap Chad because the thugs think he's Alex, because Alex has beef with these people, so they kidnap him. There's a scene where Danielle gets basically, I guess you could use the word sexually assaulted by Kara, who's the security guard. She basically feels up on her, obviously, because Kara's let's just say it, she's a bigger chick. So She then calls. I think at this point, Chad escapes from being nearly taken out by some guys because they think he's Alex. Um, like I said, reason I love watching these kind of movies too is just the stunt work and the action of these movies. Even if the story isn't the greatest, if you can just give me some fun action and some nice stunt work, I can a lot of the time not ignore, but I can look over kind of the issues of the story. 'Cause yeah, on paper, yeah, the plot's, I guess, in a way, doesn't really make sense. This is just a vehicle for Jean Claude to do some cool shit, which there's nothing wrong with that. You could say the same thing about a lot of Arnold movies back in the day. But for me, I don't care. Like, a lot of the time, if you can still make a great story, even then just make them entertaining, the story doesn't need to be the best all the time in these kind of movies. As long as it's decent enough where I'm like, all right, you still give me a lot of cool stunt work. And that's what this movie did. You know, Van Damme playing two characters. So, Danielle calls Chad for help because I think she wanted to call Alex, but Alex wasn't there. So she called Chad to help her, kind of tell him what happened. Oh, so Alex and Chad managed to initially take out. Yeah, I forgot. This is before that. They managed to take out a bunch of drug operations, and they blow it up. They attack a club, and that's where we get. That's then when we get the scene with Kara and Danielle, and then yeah, Danielle. Sorry, Kara's back. Danielle calls Chad, and they agree to meet, but she was bugged, so because the bad guys were overhearing it. So Zhang is one of the bad guys. Okay, so that's like, to be fair, like the bad guys really in this are the triads. Really, the Zhang's just a name, but if we're gonna be real, it's kind of like if in some movies the mafia is the bad guy. Yeah, there might be an actual Don and who runs it, but if we're gonna be real, it's most you could just kind of say the bad guys are just the mob. So they agree to meet, but they are nearly intercepted. We get kind of a chase through Hong Kong, which I'll be honest, that was a kind of a fun scene. They managed to make it on a boat and hide out. Um, because Alex starts being paranoid and starts thinking that they're having sex because, it's almost getting into nighttime. So he's like paranoid, like he thinks they're having sex. Like there's even like a scene where he basically imagines them actually doing it. But they didn't. Chad brings her home. He basically rages out, accidentally hitting Danielle, and that's when Chad and Alex get into a fight. And I'll be honest, this was dope. How they were able to film this. I don't know how they did. I don't know if they. I mean, obviously now they would have probably did some like, I don't know if AI or like some kind of de-aging or whatever. I don't know how they were able to have basically Jean Claude fight himself. I don't know if they did some magic, movie magic, but how they were able to do it. It was fun. This fight was great. It wasn't too long, but it didn't need to be long. Because this was just fighting for pride, basically. Chad saw him hit a girl, so obviously in his mind, hit a woman, I'm going to fight you. That kind of thing. And then Alex is angry because he thinks he slept with his girlfriend. This dude's like, so it was a fun little fight. I wonder if the Jet Li, the Jet Li movie, had a little inspiration from that movie. Just a little bit, because obviously that one deals with multiverses and all that, but at least the idea of them fighting themselves, because they did that really awesome in this movie. But and that's where we get that line, because Frank comes in, he breaks him up, he shoots his gun to kind of tell them to stop, and he tries to be like, "Hey, you guys are brothers, don't turn on each other," and then he's like, "The fight is over, but you will always be the faggots. I'm not gonna lie, dude. I died when he said that line. I would like to make that the title of the video, but I'm not. I would. That's definitely gonna restrict me. But it's probably I'm already gonna get restricted just saying that it's saying it in the video. But I'm not gonna lie, that line is fucking funny. I didn't like I saw this as a kid and over the years I just didn't remember that line. But yeah, so Chad walks off because he's like, I don't want to deal with this bullshit. Fuck him. So he goes off. Um, at both while kind of separated, they see that that they found their locate. The Zangs found their location. They take Frank and Danielle, but Alex and Chad manage to take out a couple of them. Then that's when they decide to board and fight their way through the boat. Chad takes out Moon, um, while Alex manages to kill Kara. And this is gonna be the thumbnail of the video. She tries to squeeze his head with her legs, and but he kills her by stabbing her with like a knife, and manages to save Danielle. Uh, they kill Griffith, and pretty much everybody reunites, and the brothers make peace. That's kind of really the movie. It's one of those kind of movies. It's very straightforward, but it's fun, man. The action. I actually like the movie ending on a boat. I've always loved that, like when action films end on like a boat or like a boat fight. Um, the cast overall was great. Jeffrey Lewis, that's the actor, Jeffrey Lewis. I'm like, I've seen him in a bunch of stuff. Okay, that's what it was. I remember him from like X Files. I've seen him throughout a couple. Sometimes he'll play like a cop or always a dude in a suit. So he was fun in this movie. Danielle was fine. It's like the love interest for Alex, and them fighting together was fun. The villains are all right. Kara was a decent villain. Like, at least if you're gonna have anybody like a woman fight Jean Claude Van Damme, at least they went out of the way to find a woman who looks believable. Like, they didn't just get some twig to fight Jean Claude. They got this chick. So, and then even in the movie, they showed you she's trained and stuff, at least. So I will say, overall, this is a good movie. I would probably give this one, I gave Lionheart an 8 out of 10. I give this one a 9. Objectively, it's probably an 8, but subjectively, I give this a 9. I think I like this a little bit more than Lionheart. I love the whole premise of the twins, the way they were able to have Jean-Claude play 2 different characters, and I like that he actually tried to put the work in and playing them differently from each other. He didn't just play 2 versions of himself. He actually tried to do something different. It's a nice little action movie. The martial arts is great. It's entertaining. This will be one I watch a lot. In terms of Jean-Claude Van Damme movies, this is probably going to be the one I watch the most. I love Bloodsport, don't get me wrong, but I feel like I even think I like this a little bit more than Bloodsport. Maybe it's just because I'm a hot take. I know some people love these kind of movies. I like, I guess you want to call them kumite, underground fighting, whatever you want to call it, those kind of movies. I don't love those. I mean, I like Lionheart, but for me, I'd rather watch, if I'm watching a movie, like an action movie, I want to see the action hero kill bad guys, not just like, I like martial arts and those kind of movies. It's cool to see the different martial arts, but I'd rather that's why I like this one more. I think it's just because it's Jean-Claude Van Damme, it's both. You get to see his martial arts, but you also see him taking out bad guys. I find that more fun. When I'm watching an action movie, I want that. The Kumite movies, I respect them. Like, I even like the last Kumite, but I don't tend to rewatch them. Like, I haven't watched Bloodsport in years, I'll be honest. I'll probably rewatch it again just to see how it holds up, but I generally just prefer with action films. I just want to see the action hero just kill bad guys, and that's kind of it. But anyway, this is definitely my favorite Jean-Claude movie. I love the premise. It's just a fun one. So anyways, tonight or I'll probably try to do this tomorrow, like maybe after Pin Down. This would have to be really late though, in the evening probably. So either today or maybe very late tomorrow, I will be reviewing The Wolfman. The OG Wolfman is probably my favorite Universal monster movie. I know a lot of people love Dracula. That's my favorite Dracula movie, but I've always loved the Wolfman. Something about the Wolfman is just. I've always liked werewolves, and I just like the simplicity of the plot. The design's iconic. I'll say it's not my favorite werewolf design. I've always preferred when they actually look like just giant wolves, essentially, that are just humanoid. But but for the time, I think it's iconic. The transformation for the time is iconic. It's an overall fun film. It's very simple. Those Universal monster movies were what gave it as much. Y'all know I love my Hollow, my Michael Myers, my Jason Voorhees, my Freddy Kruegers. We wouldn't have them if it wasn't for the Universal monsters. Eventually, I'll definitely, since I'm gonna do the Wolfman, maybe down the line, and when I mean down the line, maybe in a couple of weeks, I'll do the original Dracula movie too. Um, and then maybe like the Invisible Man, the original Mummy, go down that little Universal monster. I don't, even though I don't know if Universal made the movie, but the creature from the Black Lagoon, I think I kind of throw that in there too. So maybe I'll do some of those movies. But anyways, um, but other than that, guys, I will be pretty much wrapping it here. Um, Pin Down Podcast. We will be streaming tonight our SmackDown thoughts, and then we will definitely be live tomorrow for the normal show. So I'll be putting the link in the description along with our Spotify link. But other than that, guys, I will be talking to y'all later.